Another one of the factors that we look at is communications and positioning. Different strengths and different things we look for at the different stages. How would you describe these?
Yeah, well, so I think communication and positioning, I mean, it's so important to make sure that you can clearly describe the good things that your product or your service is going to do for the customer. It's really important to be able to clearly articulate the value proposition. So if your product is something completely new and unique, then that can maybe be a bit more straightforward, but it can become a lot more complex when your product is a new version of something that already exists in some form. And you really need to be able to articulate, why is your product better than your competitors? Is it cheaper? Is it quicker? Is it easier to use? These are all really important considerations and can really help add value. And then there's also the question of, how and where are you going to promote it? It might be in appropriate publications. You might be looking to some of your peers working in the same area. But, all these things kind of add up to, again, coming back to just articulating that value proposition. What is it you do that differentiates you in the marketplace?
Yeah, it is. It's back to this capturing the passion for the technology, but turning it into something that people will want to buy. That's meeting a customer need that you've identified, and how do you tell somebody that this is really what they've been looking for? It's interesting how many of our conversations can start with when you ask someone, tell me about the product, you get all the technical info because that's what's really exciting. But what does it do? Who's it for? Who else is doing it? It is very interesting. It's important to keep at the front of your mind that you're not just developing a great bit of technology or a nice bit of kit. It's actually, this is something that someone is going to want to buy because it's all about commercialization. It's all about taking your invention through the innovation process and into commercialization. So it's good at the idea stage to say, this is interesting, but who's it for? And what does it do? So being able to keep that at the front of your mind when you are starting to develop it, and then when you start to move into the bigger stage, when you're producing more of it, it's why is it different? Why is it better? What's your USP for this product? What are the barriers to entry? Are there legislative barriers that you haven't thought about that you think the market might need it, but how do you get it to the market? And it's also important not just to look at a huge market, but to focus on the particular segment or the particular customer need that you think you've got the solution to. So we look at those different, where we think the company is across each of those different levels of understanding market need.
Yeah, I think I couldn't agree more, especially with your point about focus. I mean, we've worked with a few companies that they try and take a generic approach to marketing, and I think that rarely seems to work all that well. I think, rather than trying to develop a one-size-fits-all approach, it's probably better to try and identify and address more specific market needs initially and grow from there. Yeah. And in fact, I mean, even in my own PhD, I was in a situation where we probably made a mistake of going out to companies and saying, we've got this amazing tech, what can you do with it? When actually what we should have been doing was identifying specific companies in a relevant space and saying, we've got this amazing tech, it fits perfectly with your current portfolio, and here is how. Yeah. So you really have to take that targeted approach to generate sufficient interest.